So Origins 2024, we're here with Bill, and we're talking about Roundtable, a brand new CCG that's coming out.
Yes. So Roundtable is a trading card game set in the age of King Arthur. It is designed that you recruit knights, you give them equipment and titles, you send them on quests, and you're trying to conquer different regions of Britain. Each region has a certain value based on how important it is, and then and that's that's called renown, and whoever gets the most renown by the time the last region is captured wins the game. The game takes place over the course of the seasons of a year. We actually have an active player model where one player is taking their actions first every season, but then the other players get to take their actions. Okay. So you don't have a situation where it's like, I play some lands, and then I play some cards, and then I do a bunch of stuff, and it's like, okay, now it's your turn. It's I play some cards from my hand. Your turn. Okay, great, now I play some cards from my hand. Are we both done? Great, now we move to the next season where we can now do the different actions.
Okay.
We have the base Arthurian legend set, so you've got people like Arthur and Agricol and Agravain. This is Gawain's brother. And then we also have expanded that legendarium to include other more diverse cultures into the game. So it's a blend of core Arthurian legend plus a lot of other diversity in the world. So
awesome.
The seasons, real quick, they work with, you have in spring, we are playing land, you get to play one per turn. We actually separate our lands and our main deck separately. We call our lands domains.
Okay.
And you keep them separate, so you get to draw from either your domains or your main deck either turn when you have to draw a card.
So you're never locked out of not having land to play.
Exactly. And then you have, when we're playing, you have this progressive system for resource points. So we start off with a farm and play. We want to make sure people have at least 1 point. When you play a manor on a farm and you upgrade it, you actually add 2 more resource points, so you have 3 total. When you add a large manor, you're going to have 4 more, so 7. Adding a keep gets you to 14, and a castle to 25. So by the time you have a full run, by the 5th turn, you could pay for somebody like Arthur. The other thing that we do is that you have to pay for everything on the table all the time. So you don't, Arthur here, he's a beefy boy. He has, 20 influence and 16 resistance, power and toughness, but he costs 24. He's used to a particular kind of lifestyle. He likes to eat swan every night. It ain't easy to come by, and it's expensive, so you have to pay that every turn. But what we allow for is that in autumn, you can then bring cards from the play back to your hand and get those resources back.
Okay.
So you could change in a whole bunch of small knights that you played early in the game to bring out a larger knight later, or sometimes you might want to trade in a large knight to have a lot of smaller knights so that you can attack more regions.
Okay.
During summer is when we actually do our campaigning, and this actually follows the medieval calendar in Britain. So we're doing the same things like they would do in that time. And at this point, what we're doing is we just simply move our knights. The active player goes first. In this case, because that's the active player side, this player would say, I'm going to send Jalib here with all of his stuff to attack Estragales. You're like, okay, great. I will move Arthur to also attack Estragales. Now, because of the way our game works, we're not attacking the other player's creatures or the other player. There's no life points.
Okay.
Instead, we're just trying to compete to capture the regions. So he's attacking with 28 points of influence to try to capture this, and this only has 16 base defense.
Okay.
But I'm also adding my defense. I'm trying to help the people of Estragales defend against Jalib.
Okay.
So my defense from all of my armies gets added to this to try to defend. If the attacker can exceed that, or if an attacker can exceed that, then they can capture that region. But if they can't, in this case, 28 is not higher than 32, so he wouldn't be able to get it. But I'm also bringing 26, and he's got more than 10, so that would be more than 26 defense there. So neither of us would capture it. I could then say, you know what I want to do though is I really want this region, so I'm going to play a quest on Jalib, because what do knights like to do more than anything? Go on quests. And so Jalib is like, hell's yeah, I'm going to go on this quest to go burn the witch. And we do have a reward for completing quests.
Okay.
During the autumn season, if you complete a quest, then you get to draw a number of cards equal to the number of points that were spent to play it. So if you had to spend 5 points, let's say, to play this card, then the controller gets to draw 5 cards. So I might get the region, but you get 5 cards, and so it's a little bit of a double-edged sword on when to play it, how to play it. You can also quest your own knights, like if I wanted to take this and send it over here, I could do that. And then I would get to draw cards equal to that cost as well. But let's say that you're like, well, wait a second, I don't want you to get those 11 points. I really want to defend that. I can now play a redirect. Our princess is in another region as this one. And that sort of cancels that quest and allows you to move Jalib back to where you want to.
Okay.
And then you would be able to defend that. You could also say, all right, I'm not going to be able to capture this if Arthur's in play on this attack. So I'm going to send Arthur over here to Lyonesse. Go enjoy those 3 renown, because I'm going to get these 11. So you can play redirects on both sides of the table also. During autumn is when we resolve everything. We figure out, was a region captured? If it was, we move that over there. We expose the next region, and then that becomes the next region we're playing for in the next turn. Okay. When the last region is captured, we figure out who has the most renown. That's the winner. And then when we go from autumn to winter, the active player changes. So now I would take my turn first for each of the seasons. And then when we go back again to the next winter, then you would be the active player. And it just alternates back and forth. So sometimes it's good to go first. Sometimes it's good to go second.
Okay. And then what will come like in a starter deck if someone was to pick that up?
Great question. So the starter decks, I want to kind of highlight a couple things here. So the starter decks are unique. Each deck is different. So it's not like a canned commander deck or something like that you're seeing today. These are all specially crafted to be playable from the box, but also to have a good blend of knights, equipment, quests, redirects, titles, that kind of stuff. You also get 5 regions, which is what you need to play the game. That's a game, and 20 lands. You also get 2 cards. 2 rules cards. One is this Turnkeeper, so we have our metal Turnkeeper, but we also just have this Turnkeeper that comes in the deck. And again, you just simply denote who's the active player, and then when it goes to winner, then I become the active player, so you can track it that way. And then it also comes with this quick little rules cheat sheet, which just says here are the different actions you can take in each season. But on the back of that is a QR code that lets you that takes you to the online rules as well as the FAQ.
Perfect.
We also have, there's 254 cards in the whole set, 20 lands, 30 regions, and then 204 different cards in the main set. Each starter deck comes with 45 of the main decks, of the main cards. It comes with 5 regions and 20 lands. We have 4 different rarities in the game. We have legendary, rare, uncommon, and common, and there's 51 of each of those. We also have treasure packs that are 15 cards, main deck cards, plus 3 regions. So you got a good blend. This is the equivalent of 3 treasure packs plus 20 lands. So, and if you want to get started, you need to, we strongly recommend that you have a starter deck per player. It is theoretically possible, and we actually had someone try it, playing the game from one deck, but it's a somewhat degraded experience because you don't have the flexibility and the number of options that you would have if you had the whole deck. So
perfect. And where can people find this?
Excellent question. We are on sale right now on our site. Go to roundtabletcg.com. And that will take you to our site. There's a button there. There's an image there. It says on sale now available. Just click that. Takes you to our online store. We're working to try to get it into game stores. So if people want their game store to carry it, ask your game store to carry it, and we'll work with them to have it in stock.
Awesome. Well, this sounds really, really cool. What other regions besides like the Arthurian stuff do you have available for other people?
Well, for right now, we're going to have some 3D print stuff available, just silly things like that. We're working on expansions for this. The next one we're working on right now really is the Magic expansion. We're going to introduce the fairy realms. So we've actually included Kalia, the fairy queen, in the game. She's one of the knights that's available. But we really want to expand out the magical portion. So we bring in Merlin, Morgana, that kind of stuff. And also bring in regions from the fairy realm. And then we're also working on a cooperative mode because when we're building the game, we love cooperative games because Cthulhu Death May Die, Pandemic, all of those. And we were looking at this going, wait a second, this is a competitive game. Our first game is a competitive game. We need to fix that. So we're working on a cooperative mode. It's going to be grand quests that are going to be 5 or 6 stages. And your first stage will be, say, defeat the brigands, and you have to work collectively to bring 25 points of influence to defeat the brigands. And then you do that, and you reveal the next stage. And it's like, go to the dragon's lair, and you have to. So it's going to be obviously get progressively harder and more difficult for the players to complete. We want to make it challenging, and not, but not also impossible. And we don't want to make it too easy. So we're trying to figure out what we're going to do, how we're going to do it, what the balance is. And we're hoping to get something that we can use during the Learn to Play events we have scheduled at Gen Con to expose that. But we really want to get that up by the end of the year.
Okay, awesome. Well, sounds like there's some awesome things coming for the game in the future, but hey, this base set sounds fantastic.
Thank you. Yeah, we have tons of ideas for bringing in Scotland and Ireland, the Holy Roman Empire, Gaul. We got to go back where Lancelot's from, you know. The Moorish lands, the Holy Land. There's like so many other opportunities for us to expand this. Plus, as I said, the fairy realms, which is a whole different, you know, dimension of places for us to go. So we're very excited about it.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for talking to us.
Thank you very much. An aspirant has come, kneel. All right. In the name of God, St. Michael, and St. George, I grant you the right to bear arms and the power to meet justice. Rise, Knight of Camelot. Huzzah! Raise your sword on high, and just put your crown on. Yay! Huzzah!
Huzzah!
All right. In the name of God, St. Michael, and St. George, grant you the power to bear arms and the right to meet justice. Rise, Knight of Camelot.
Huzzah!
Oops, we need the crown. There you are.
Take a photo.
Yes.
Huzzah! Woo!